Hello, let us look at the review questions for exam 41. Here, first one is this. In the diagram below, circle O, you can see that here, diameter OAB. Now, having diameter AOB, that's actually quite important because it cuts the circle in halves. Now, it's perpendicular to chord CD. Now, one thing that I want you to realize is this. Whenever we have diameter or radius cutting the chord perpendicularly, that means two sides that have been cut of the chords that are equal in length. Now, so then I can call this one as X and then X. Now, next one is this. OA is 6. The radius is equal to 6 here. And OE is equal to 2. Then did you notice that here OB would have been also radius, but we already cut the portion of 2, so therefore what do you think EB would have been? That's right, EB would have been equal to 4. So then here what I'll be using is this. I'll be using this idea in a circle. If I have two chords intersecting, then we should know that, and then I call this one as A and B and C and D. We know that A times B is equal to C times D, meaning product of the segments of one chord is equal to each other. So here we have 4 is one side, and how about the other side here? 6 and 2 combined together, it becomes 8. So therefore, what we can do is this. 8 times 4 is equal to X times X, meaning X squared. So here we have X squared is equal to 32. Then X must be equal to square root of 32. Alright, but what is square root of 32? That's right. If you have to think about it carefully, then square root of 32 is made out of square root of 16 times square root of 2. Where square root of 16 is 4, and then so we get 4 square root of 2, which is last answer. Choice 4 becomes our answer. Alright, let's move on to number 2. So here we have, we have tangent and a line segment that passes through a circle. Now, here the formula that I'll be using is this. If you have a circle and a tangent and a secant, notice that it continues all the way till the end. So if I call this one as a and then this is B, and then this is C, from here to here and here to here, and A is from here to here, then the relationship between A, B, and C are A squared is equal to outside line segment, which is B, times the whole thing, which is B plus C. Now, but notice that in this picture, this secant didn't go to the other side of the circle. So if I have to extend this one a little bit further to this way, then you will realize that that will be also 7 as well. I'm looking for AP, so I'm going to call that as X. Then what do you realize? X squared is equal to outside, which is 18, times the whole thing here. Then whole thing will be 18 plus 7 plus 7, combining everything together. Then I believe if you to multiply 18 times this one becomes 14, and then so therefore it becomes 32. So 18 times 32, I believe it becomes 576. So X becomes, when you take the square root of it, it becomes 24. So the answer is choice 4. Alright, how about the next question? As we talked about it earlier in our classes, when you have tangent line segment from outside of the circle to the circle, these two are equal in length, which makes the triangle here isosceles. Now, then what is the measure of that angle? Whatever that is, in fact, same as here. So here we have, so then 30 plus 2x is equal to 180. then 2x must be equal to 150, then x must be equal to 75. So angle CAB is equal to 75. Choice 3 becomes our answer. Now, how about here? One thing that which we have to realize here is this. If I have circle and then two chords meet, and if this is A, this is B, and this is X, what is the relationship? X equals A plus B divided by 2. Now, applying same logic, we have CEA, which means this is the angle X that we are looking for. So what we're going to be doing is this. X equals 87 plus 35 over 2. 87 and then 35, when you add them up together, we get 122 over 2. So therefore, X becomes 61. So 61 becomes the answer. All right, next question. Number 5. We are using similar logic here, BEA. BEA will be right over here, so I'm going to call this one as X. What do we end up getting? Same logic, X equals 70 plus 90 divided by 2. But what's 70 plus 90? That's 160 divided by 2, so therefore X equals what? 80. So 80 becomes the answer. All right, or 80 degrees. How about next question? Number 6. Here we have our chord AB, and then CD intersect at point E, and then AC is 50, so this is 50 degrees, and BD is 150. Well, what am I looking for? Angle AED. That is the angle that I'm looking for here. Now, but our formula doesn't get us the angle X right away. In fact, it only gets us this angle right over here. I called it Y. Then here Y becomes 50 plus 150 divided by 2. What is that equal to? 200 divided by 2, where Y becomes 100. But what's the relationship between X and Y? Notice that they are on the same line, so therefore X and Y are supplementary. That gives us X being equal to 180 minus Y, which is 100. Then our answer becomes 80, and that becomes our answer. All right, let's look at number 7. Same idea here. So our formula will be 4x will be equal to 120 plus 2x divided by 2. So here we get 8x by cross multiplying them is equal to 120 plus 2x. By subtracting 2x, we get 6x equals 120. Then when we divide by 6, x will be equal to 20. Now, is x what they're looking for? Yes, it is. So therefore, 20 becomes the answer. All right, let's look at number 8. Now, here, what is the question asking for? Arc dB. So I'm going to call this one as x, but using the same formula. So here we get 34 must be coming from 50 plus x divided by 2. Now, then I'm going to put it over 1, cross multiply them, we get 68 must be equal to 50 plus x. When you subtract 50, then x becomes 18. And 18 is what we're looking for here. Choice 2. Now, number 9. See, do you see the ratio here? Whenever you see the ratio, what we want to do is we want to mark them with x's. In other words, AC is not 4, but AC will be 4x. We can do it this way. And CB is equal to 2x. And BD is equal to 6x. And then DA is equal to 8x. Notice that when you combine all of them, that's an angle around the circle, which becomes 360. So what we can do is 4x plus 2x plus 6x plus 8x. That must be equal to 360. Then when you combine them together, we get this one is 20x equals 360. Now, when you divide by 20, then x equals 18. Now, when x equals 18, what we're looking for here is this DEB. DEB. So that's the x. That means what we are looking for is this measure of the arc and this measure of the arc, and apply the same formula. Then what is 4x? That means 4 times 18. Now, what is 4 times 18? That's equal to 72. How about here? 6 times 18, that becomes 102. So, let me just call it, instead of x, let me call it something else because we used that x already. Let me call that angle as maybe y. How about that? So here we can say y then is equal to 72 plus 102 divided by 2. Then here we get 180 divided by 2. So y must be equal to 90 degrees, which is choice 2. That becomes our answer. Let's go for the next one. Number 10. BA and then BC are congruent. That tells us that since arc BC is 140, then arc BA also must be 140 because the chords are equal, they're same measures. And I don't know what this one is, so why don't I call this one as x? But the angle that which we are looking for is this one, y. So here, first, we realize that 140 plus 140 plus x must be equal to 360 because that's the measure of the angle around the circle. So once you combine them together, what is x equal to? X becomes 80 once you calculate that. Alright, so now you just have to subtract 280 from both sides. Since x equals 80, what do you realize about y? Y is the inscribed angle. So inscribed angle is always half of the intercepted arc. So half of 80 becomes 40. So we get 40 becomes the answer. Alright, number 11. Here, AOC is 96. You see the central angle is same as the measure of the arc, so this becomes also 96 as well. But what do you realize about inscribed angle, ABC? Inscribed angle is always half of intercepted arc, so we get half of 96, which is equal to 48. So 48 becomes our answer, which is choice 2. Alright, let's move on. Number 12. Since the quadrilateral is inscribed in the circle, all 4 points are on the circle, we call this one a cyclic quadrilateral. In that case, we realize that opposite angles are supplementary. So the answer is choice 4. The reason is this will be covering half of that arc, and this angle will cover half of this arc. But notice that if you were to look at the red arc and green arc combined together, it becomes 360 degrees. But the inscribed angles are half of those, so it will be add up to be 180. Since they add up to 180, that's why it becomes supplementary. Alright, now let's look at number 13 here. In order for us to use this one, we will be using this concept. When I have a tangent and a chord, then here measure of arc is A, that means the angle made by tangent and chord is simply half of the intercepted arc, similar to the inscribed angle. So here we have measure of ACB, which means measure of this entire arc here outside is equal to 300. That tells us that arc AB would have been 60, because entire thing would have been 360. That makes the angle over here, inscribed angle, will be half of 60, which will be equal to 30 degrees. So angle BAP will be 30 degrees. Now, number 14. Now, once again, here AC is 1. AC to CB is 1 to 4. That means this is x, while this one is 4x. Notice that this is a diameter. That means when you combine x and 4x, they become 180. That's right. So we get x plus 4x is equal to 180 here. Now, when you combine them together, we get 5x is equal to 180. Then when you divide by 5x would have been equal to 36. Now, then what is the measure of angle? DBC, right over here. We need to figure out what is 4 times 36 would have been. In fact, that's equal to 144. So therefore, this angle, using the same idea as before, becomes half of 144. So the answer is 72-degree angle. All right, let's look at the next question, number 15. Here we have measure of arc CD is 70, and the measure of arc AB is 20. What is the measure of the angle P? So here, the formula is this. When you have circle and 2 secants meeting up together, then this is A, this one is B, and then this one is X. X will be outer minus inner divided by 2. So A minus B divided by 2. So here X will be equal to 70 minus 20 divided by 2. 70 minus 20 equals 50 divided by 2, which is equal to 25. So we get choice A becomes the answer. All right, let's look at one more question here. Angle P is 50. What is arc AB? So I'm going to call that as X. But the thing is, ADC is twice as much as AB, so I'm going to call this one as 2x then. So using our formula, we get 2x minus x divided by 2 must be equal to 50. 2x minus x becomes x, so we get x over 2 equals 50. Then here, what are we going to do? We can put it over 1, cross multiply, x becomes 100. So, arc AB would have been equal to 100, which is choice 3. Let's go for the next one here. So, QT is equal to 140, and then angle P is equal to 40. What is this one? So, same formula, 140 minus x divided by 2 must be equal to 40. You can put it over 1 and cross multiply, then we get 140 minus x would have been equal to 80. Now, then what are we going to do? Subtract 140. Then negative x must be equal to negative 60. That tells us that x must be equal to 60. So we get 60 as our answer. All right, next question here. The major arc means the bigger arc is BC is 220. So here to here, that's 220. Now guys, I want you to think about it. If this one is 220, what is the minor arc? That can be found by 360 minus 220, isn't it? Then you get to see that it's equal to 140. So that becomes 140 because both arcs combine together to be equal to 360. Then how do you find the measure of angle X? So we get what? 220 minus 140 divided by 2 will be equal to X. So 220 minus 140 becomes 80 divided by 2 is equal to X. That tells us that that's equal to 40. So 40 becomes our answer. All right, let's continue. Number 19. In a circle, 2 tangents from an external point intercept a major arc. So I have a circle, 2 tangents. Okay, here, major arc is 240. Find the number of degrees angle formed by the tangent. So I'm going to call this one as x. What is this one? Same reasoning as before. 360 minus 240. We know that to be equal to 120. And that 120 is right over here. Then to find x, what we're going to be doing is 240 minus 120 divided by 2 will be equal to x. Notice that that becomes 120 over 2, which is equal to 60. So 60 becomes our final answer. All right, so we're going to stop here for now, and then we'll pick it up in part 2. I'll see you later. Have a great day.